Hi, and welcome to the Theme Park Duo podcast. Grab your park map, churro, and hop in line with us as we take you on a coast-to-coast adventure through the world of theme parks, haunts, conventions, and more. Now, here's your hosts, Nikki and Gabriel.
Hello, and welcome to another epic episode of the Theme Park Duo podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nikki.
And I am Gabriel, and I am very appreciative of the alliteration you used in the intro.
Epic episode.
I like alliterations. They are satisfying.
They are.
They're very satisfying. And yes, today is a very epic episode because we are talking everything T2 3D Battle Across Time.
Oh, I love that attraction.
This was definitely an incredible attraction, and it still exists other places other than our home because we live in Los Angeles. Universal Studios Hollywood is essentially our backyard, and it no longer exists there, and it makes me very sad to this day.
Unfortunately, it closed for us in 2012, but we'll get into that later.
Yes, we will. We have a ton of news to cover, so we want to bust through a lot of this news here before we really get to our main topic. And let's not hesitate any longer. Let's get in with our first segment, The Mouse Report.
Okay, so our first bit of mouse news is coming straight from the Magic Kingdom in Florida. And this is something that we experienced when we went there on our honeymoon, and they're changing it. They have a new welcome ceremony. So they have a new ceremony to open the Magic Kingdom.
Now, I don't know how good I feel about this just because they've changed it significantly. So if you're unaware with the opening ceremony that they have at the Magic Kingdom, it takes place, or it used to take place, on the train station. Everybody was kind of like in that little open area in the front of the park where they have the Mickey Mouse out of flowers. It was the front of the train station, things like that. They didn't really let you past the arches of the train going underneath. They would bring the train in with all the characters, and they would sing and dance, and there'd be confetti.
Confetti cannons,
and then they let you in, and then it's the awe-inspiring moment where you see the castle, you're in the moment, the dream has come true, you know, and for me, that is really what made me, like, get so verklempt and even cry when we went.
Yep, you did cry.
We'll skip over the crying bit for a while, but yes, I was overwhelmed with emotion. I don't feel like it's going to happen like that anymore for people who go to this new one because it's going to take place at the castle.
It's a lot different. There's something really special about the countdown happening when you can't see anything yet. You're still filled with anticipation because you haven't even passed under the archways yet. So you are dying to get in there. So the fact that countdown and ceremony happened outside the main park area, it was really special because it was so much more big when you went in.
Yeah, it was
momentous.
Is that the word? Is that a word? I don't even know if that's a word.
Monumental.
Yeah, monumental. I guess you guys know what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
It was a much bigger deal when they did it that way. So now that they're going to have it at the castle, not sure if it's going to have the same effect. I mean, you're at Walt Disney World, you should be happy regardless.
Yeah.
But now they're probably just going to keep you off at the lands, just kind of like they do here at Disneyland in California.
It probably just logistically works better for them, which is fine.
Also, I mean, like, that opens up Main Street for them. People will spend more money at the Starbucks and coffees and breakfast stuff and everything.
Yeah.
But it also takes away from, like, the special feeling you get when you have, like, scheduled breakfast for the Magic Kingdom before the park opens, and you're the only ones that get to walk through by yourself. That doesn't happen anymore now.
Well, I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, we ate at the Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And you tried to take Eeyore's tail off while he wasn't looking.
Well, yeah, but you also laughed because the Piglet was one of the meet and greet characters. And
I was eating bacon.
Yeah. There was bacon on the table. It was kind of awkward.
It was a very awkward meet and greet because of that.
It was fun, though.
Yes, and moving on to our next piece of Disney news, Epcot rumors beyond all belief. There are so many rumors swirling right now about Epcot being remodeled, getting new rides, expanding the World Showcase, adding more IPs to the World Showcase. There's just so much going on. And I think out of all of those, honestly, the biggest one is adding IPs to the World Showcase. How would you personally feel if they added more outside of Frozen to the World Showcase.
I don't know how I'd feel about it. I feel like it would lose some of its charm. Right now it's special. It's kind of the only adult-ish area of a Disney park, you know, and it's like kind of educational because you get to learn about the cultures, and I feel like if you stick just, you know, Disney characters and IPs in those small little rides and areas, like you're just gonna lose the educational aspect of it and the realistic aspect of it, because it's supposed to be realistic. It's supposed to feel like you're in that area, but then when you go into a ride and it's, you know, Frozen characters, then it kind of takes something away from it.
Yeah, because I guess Epcot, in the words of Tony Baxter, is taking the real world and making it magical. That is what that is supposed to be doing. Why can't they do that with adding Disney characters? Does that take away from that meaning? And then are they maybe trying to move away from the edutainment and really move towards just what the other parks do? And does that make Epcot lose its flavor? I
think it does. I think it would lose something for me if every ride was somehow
attached to some Disney animated film.
Disney animated, you know, not real life character, not real life situation, you know.
So how would you feel if like Marvel moved into like Future World, like over where the land and Journey into Your Imagination and Energy Adventure, all that stuff?
Marvel can stay in Hollywood Studios. I wouldn't really like that either, because once again, that's supposed to be educational.
I agree. I think Hollywood Studios would be a much better fit for any of the Marvel properties.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think Epcot is really the place to be doing any of that.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I think that having maybe a couple Disney attractions like in the World Showcase isn't so bad.
Well,
but like, once you've let the cat out of the bag, I think at that point, like, it's just gonna go out of control.
Yeah, it's already started. The ball is rolling, and I'm a little sad.
Well, I mean, it's the Frozen. It's doing well. It's a really good attraction based off of like the Maelstrom before. But I mean, I don't know how I feel about it personally quite yet. I know that I feel like I definitely know that Marvel, in my opinion, should stay at Hollywood Studios 100%. I don't know technically how I feel about the Disney characters being in the World Showcase yet.
I guess we'll just wait and see.
Exactly. And then the other piece of rumor was that there's going to be a new pavilion, and the rumor was that it was going to be Brazil coming into the World Showcase.
I'm not mad at that, but is it going to replace the land that's already there?
So I don't know if it's going to replace anything or if it's just being added. I would hope it's just being added because I would be scared to lose any of those pavilions because they all have their own specific charm and piece to the puzzle, you know?
Yeah.
They bring their own thing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. They probably have room to add one more.
I think they do.
And moving away from Disney news, we're going to go into other parks now. So first, we're going to Universal Studios.
Hollywood,
specifically Hollywood. So Universal Studios Hollywood is demolishing some sound stages. They've demolished sound stages 22, 23, 24, and 25. That's a
lot of sound stages.
That's a lot of ground area.
It's a lot of space.
A lot of space for them to do something else.
So now, there's either three things that are going in this space, in this lower lot expansion, because this is where all of it is. Either 1, Nintendo Land, 2, a dark ride that's been rumored for a long time, which is Secret Life of Pets, or 3, the long-rumored Diagon Alley.
I hope it's Diagon Alley, but my gut's telling me it's probably Nintendo Land.
Probably, just because they've already announced it as something that is 100% going to happen.
Yeah, I just want a big dragon on our coast.
Well, I mean, you saw the dragon on the other coast, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No. When I went, it was only Hogsmeade. The other half hadn't been built yet.
What was there?
What?
I don't remember what was there.
I only went to the one park that had Hogsmeade.
So you don't even... you didn't even care about the other park. You didn't care about Islands of Adventures.
I only went there for one thing.
That stinks. You missed a lot of good rides.
I don't care.
You are serious.
Yes. Harry Potter forever.
You have a little lightning bolt on your head now.
It just formed.
It just formed right now.
It was like a vein that popped and it's just a lightning bolt.
It's a vein-shaped lightning bolt vein? That's weird.
It's just meant to be. I don't know. This has gotten out of hand.
Okay, moving forward past the vein in your forehead. Out over at Universal Studios again, over at CityWalk, which is their little downtown district, Voodoo Donuts opened up.
Ooh.
Soft openings going on right now, and their first day open, they sold out of donuts.
I can believe it. The line was so long from the pictures that I saw.
I guess you could say they put a spell on the group of people.
Oh, boy.
Those dang voodoo witch doctors.
I don't know which is worse, that joke or my lightning bolt.
Vain.
Yeah, vain comment.
Probably my joke. My joke. But alas, I admit that my jokes are bad, but I have fun saying them, so deal with it.
Yeah. And when the crowd calms down, I am very excited to go get myself a voodoo donut.
Are you going to get the one that looks like a little body with the pretzel in it and you stab it thinking about your ex-boyfriends? At least that's what people say you do when you do it.
No, well, why wouldn't you just bite the head off? Why do you have to stab it?
This is a family show, Nikki.
Oh, no. Valid question.
Well, then there's also, like, the donuts with, like, the bacon on it, or they have one that has Captain Crunch all over it. Have you seen that? You like that.
I want a cereal-covered donut. That's what I want.
It's like a breakfast combined in one little piece of goodness.
Don't they have one that's Fruit Loops?
I believe they have a lot of things.
Okay,
I know for a fact that I saw Captain Crunch.
Okay, cool.
I don't know about Fruit Loops. I didn't see Fruit Loops.
Okay.
Toucan Sam, I have no idea where he is.
Toucan make a Fruit Loop donut.
That was so much worse than what I said. That was so much worse. Moving on.
I'm sorry.
Moving on. We're going to go to Knott's Berry Farm, not too far away from Universal Studios Hollywood, and we're going to be talking about their new VR experience, and it's going to be called VR Showdown in Ghost Town. So if you listen to our first episode, I believe that we mentioned briefly that there was a VR experience coming, but the news that came about it wasn't from Knott's, it was from the VR company.
So we had no information about what it was.
Yeah, so we really didn't know what it was or what the theming was. All I said was that I wanted it to stick with the theming of Knott's Berry Farm, stick with their story, anything that really stays within the bounds of Knott's Berry Farm and what has made them popular. And it's exactly what they did.
You called it. You got your wish.
I mean, I really like the road they're going down with that kind of stuff. I mean, I really, really appreciate it. And if you guys want to head over to themeparkduo.com, we actually have a write-up all about it and all the information. But I could read you guys a little bit of it, of what they sent out to a whole bunch of people. It says, the immersive and interactive VR attraction will invite guests to embark on a time travel adventure, which will transport them to a futuristic version of Knott's western town of Calico. Players will be met by robotic creatures and embark on a daring mission with other groups of players to defend the town. The one-of-a-kind immersive experience perfectly combines virtual reality and a competitive gaming realm that will captivate guests. Armed with a state-of-the-art wireless virtual reality headset and futuristic blasters, mind you notice they didn't say guns.
Yeah. Gotta keep it PC.
Apparently. Multiple players will compete against one another with a high score and bragging rights as part of this immersive adventure while striving towards shared team goals. So it sounds like it's like a personal thing and also helping out the team as a whole.
Yeah.
At the end of the VR competition, guests will be able to view and compare scores with their fellow opponents. Now, this is something that I find really fun, and today we saw a little bit of what was going on. We were at Knott's Berry Farm today. And we went, this is located right under Iron Reef, I believe. This is where I think it's going.
Yeah, in the arcade.
And they moved a lot of things around.
Oh, yeah. The place is a mess right now because they have a whole section blocked off for construction and all the games are cramped into a smaller area. But they're really renovating that area for this VR game.
I'm really excited to see how it goes. The only real theming that I've seen outside of knowing what it is was they had a little wooden fence out front.
Yeah.
Or rather, inside the arcade, kind of separating you from the construction tarp.
Yeah. And we should put in that this is going to be an upcharge experience, just like laser tag was.
Yeah, it's going to be $6, which is a very reasonable price. $6 per person. Like, if you're thinking about, the price of admission and stuff like that, this is very cheap compared to that.
Yeah.
And if I had to compare, I'd rather do this than buy a burger.
Really? You'd rather do this than buy... You're going to buy the burger
Well,
also.
because I'd buy a taco.
Oh.
I tricked you.
No, you're
I'm
just
still
gonna
gonna eat.
You're just gonna buy a cookie witch. Let's be honest.
Oh, the Cookie Witch. We can do a whole episode on the Cookie Witch.
We could.
No, that's not good because people would drool all over their keyboards, all over their car. We don't want them to come to us for their dry cleaning bills.
Oh, okay.
That is not a good thing.
We'll steer clear of that topic then.
Please.
Okay, so moving to a different park once again, we are going to Six Flags Over Georgia, and we are talking about their ride Drop of Doom.
So it's their VR experience on their drop tower ride.
Yeah, and this is not to be confused with Drop of Doom at our Six Flags in California, which is Lex Luthor's Drop of Doom.
They probably could have thought of a better name.
I think they need a new creative ride namer person.
Just specific. That is a title, people.
That is a job title.
Creative ride name person.
Yeah.
Developer.
Yeah. Whatever the title, they need to fire who they have now, because it's very confusing.
They have a lot of rides that share similar names, and sometimes they're not necessarily the same type of ride. But yes, it's called Drop of Doom, and it's their VR experience on their drop tower attraction.
And this one's all about spiders.
Yes, so it has spiders attacking your thing. So this is opened up. I think I said it in the last show, but I'm not a fan of VR on attractions. I go on these rides to see the environments that I'm in already. If I wanted to do this kind of a thing, I go in a motion simulator.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like looking at a video game all the time.
Yeah, I've said it before. I would do it once. And drop rides are some of my favorite rides, but half the fun is, the slow, going higher and higher and higher, and the anticipation and seeing the cars and the people get tiny and tinier, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're up so high. If you're wearing a headset, you don't really feel that because it's virtual. But I would try it once, because seeing that virtual reality and feeling the actual feelings of your stomach, going in your throat as you're dropping, like, it'd be really cool to experience that for real with the VR. So I would do it once, and then I'd want to go on the actual ride again.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd do it once. And I don't want people to get confused, because we literally just talked about a VR experience that I was really excited about. When I say I don't like VR experiences, it's when they are put on attractions that normally I would like to see where I go. So roller coasters, drop rides, things like that. If the VR experience is a contained experience on its own, separated from rides,
yeah,
I think that's better.
Both feet firmly planted on a ground, you're in the room.
Yeah. So I just don't like them on rides. I mean, for all I know, this could be incredible, but I just personally like seeing where I'm at and what I'm doing, because that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
So, but moving forward to our last little bit of update, we're going to go all the way to Orlando to Fun Spot, where they started doing a lot of construction on Mind Blower. So this is the Gravity Group wood coaster that's being built over there that's going to actually have a corkscrew element to it where it goes upside down.
Wow, that's very rare for wood and roller coasters, right?
Yeah, I know that there was only maybe one or two other coasters that were wooden that actually have done that. True wooden coasters, not like hybrids or anything. I think it was Son of Beast or Beast. I don't remember the name of the coaster. It was one of those two that actually had like this big loop to it.
Oh.
And I think eventually they ended up taking it out. But how do you feel about a wooden roller coaster actually going upside down?
I'd ride it. I'd give it a little time for them to get the kinks out, make sure it's really safe. If no one dies in a few months, I'll ride it.
So you're waiting till somebody dies to prove your point of not going on it?
Well, I'm hoping that nobody dies so I can ride it. My hope isn't for someone to die.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
But usually when I think about rides, I don't think about the loss of lives.
You're thinking about the lack of loss of lives.
Lack of yes, that exactly what it,
alliteration number 2.
Yes, it is alliteration number 2. That one kind of confused me. It was like a tongue twister.
He just gave me this blank stare.
Well, that's because nothing's going on in my mind right now when I'm thinking about the alliteration, because I was so confused. Sorry, you're just smarter than me sometimes. Sometimes I have my moments.
You do.
Like the light bulb goes off, but sometimes the light bulb kind of flickers and then it just burns out. And then that's the moments where like right now.
Yeah.
Where I just don't know what I'm doing and I start drooling all over my shirt. I'm just like, oh,
yeah,
brain dead.
It's messy over here.
A little bit. Anyway, that's ending. That ends our news portion of the show. It's about time, because we need to really get started talking about T2 3D Battle Across Time. There's so much to talk about, a lot of history behind it, the movie, the attraction, the inception, things like that.
Yeah.
So let's get into our ride profile of T2 3D Battle Across Time. So T2 3D Battle Across Time opened up May 6th of 1999 over at Universal Studios Hollywood. So it was actually a very unique attraction. It was really fun. And it actually opened up in Orlando first and then it moved here.
Yeah, because it was such a hit.
It was a big hit. I think they were kind of waiting to see how people would react because I think it was the first time since Terminator 2 that they were introducing these characters back again.
Yeah, so let's start at the beginning. The initial planning for T2 3D Battle Across Time began in the 90s, like the early 90s. Jay Stein, Universal Parks and Resorts chairman at the time, asked Gary Goddard and his team at Landmark Entertainment to develop a stunt show based around the Terminator franchise.
Yeah, and so they would need permission from James Cameron in order to do this attraction. So if you don't know anything about the theme park world, you know, when they make attractions like T2 3D or an Indiana Jones or a Star Tours or anything based around a film or intellectual property,
they need to get the rights.
They need to get the rights and the permission of the filmmakers to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, the filmmakers end up working with them in order to create such an immersive and incredible experience.
Yeah.
So they needed to talk to James Cameron about this, and they were probably crapping their pants. Yeah. This is James Cameron. Like, this is scary.
Wasn't he already pretty jaded about the topic of turning it into a ride? Because he got thrown some pretty bad ideas.
Well, it's like people wanted to make Terminator into like a musical and like all this really stupid crap. So he was going to the meeting about this attraction already knowing he was going to say no.
Yeah.
Like, he already had the no answer in his head as he was driving. So when he actually got there and he saw the ideas and the plans and the storyboards for this attraction, he was actually genuinely impressed.
But thank goodness he was.
Yeah, and he was looking at it, he was like, this is great, I love this idea. And they went through the entire plan for what they wanted to do with the attraction, and he actually genuinely liked it, so he actually greenlit it and let them go forward with the attraction. I'm so glad that they did, because we got an incredible attraction that to me is probably one of the best 3D attractions I've ever been on.
It's really good. 3D / live action show. It's fantastic.
You get animatronics, you get live people, you got guns, you got special effects, you got 3D, multiple screens. Oh my god, mind blown.
That's probably why it cost a whopping $60 million total.
Oh my god, that's more money I'll ever see in my entire life.
$24 million of that was just on the filming alone.
That probably makes up a big chunk of like payment towards the actors.
Yeah.
Because all the original actors from T2 came back for this attraction. So you have Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, who played Sarah Connor, Edward Furlong, who played John Connor, as well as Robert Patrick, who played the T-1000. Yeah. All of them came back for this. So this is essentially the best sequel to Terminator 2 that has ever existed.
Yeah.
Because every other Terminator film that's come out has not been that great. Some have been okay.
Yeah.
But most of them fall short.
Yeah.
So
it was the best sequel that never truly was
a sequel. So a lot of people, a lot of the fanboys really grabbed tight to this because it was such a good separate story. And they even introduced 2 new characters into the mix of things, 2 new Terminators actually. But we'll get into it a little bit later when we actually start talking about the attraction itself and the experience.
Yeah.
Which I think we could actually start doing now.
Yeah, let's dive into it.
Yeah, so the building is actually, it was to the left. It was at the very end of Baker Street and the very end of the Parisian area. And it is now where Minion Mayhem is, which don't even freaking get me started on Minion Mayhem. I despise that ride.
I think you're just a little mad that it replaced Terminator.
Yeah. I'm a little mad.
Yeah, just a bit.
A little, when I say a little, I mean a lot. But it was back off in that corner. It was a very light blue building, and it said T2 3D on the front. And as you walk through that is where you got your 3D glasses, and you waited in line to go into what you believe to be the Cyberdyne Systems headquarters, where you're going to see a show presenting their brand new idea for Cyberdyne Systems.
Yeah. Kind of like Apple, like when they introduced the new iPhone. It was kind of
actually, that's a really good comparison. That's actually kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
So instead of holding this cool gadget in their hand, they're showing off their just gigantic robots.
Yeah. But before we get to that part, the whole audience is led into this lobby waiting area
where they have this really good music that's actually very catchy. I'll put it underneath while we're talking right now so people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it was very catchy, and on the screens you see the rotating logos of Cyberdyne Systems sitting there, and everybody just waits in this room kind of bobbing their heads to the music and wait. They kind of mixed it with the Terminator 2 theme music and stuff like that.
Yeah, it had that beat in it.
Yeah. Do you actually, I completely forgot to mention this, but do you remember in that room there was that little sign? It was like a neon sign where the words went across it, and it would make fun of people and make jokes and stuff. Do you remember that?
I remember
it was just words.
I remember it now that you tell me that right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always used to watch it because it was so entertaining. It would point specific people out in the crowd.
How rude.
Yeah, no. And there was probably somebody looking at the crowd and just typing these ridiculous things out and saying them.
That must have been a fun / sucky job. Fun, in the moment, but then wouldn't you just get kind of tired of making fun of people all day?
I don't know. I feel like it's the same situation where it's Crush the Turtle over at Turtle Talk with Crush.
He's
where
not supposed to.
Yeah, but he does make fun of people.
I'm pretty sure he insulted me one time. He picked me out and he talked to me and he said something and I laughed, and then I thought for a second, I was like, I think I should be offended. It took me a minute.
But that is a Disney park, so that was my fault for taking us on that small little tangent.
It's okay.
But anyway, eventually in this room, you're greeted by Kimberly Duncan, who is going to be the representative of Cyberdyne Systems for your example presentation today in the Miles Bennett Dyson Memorial Auditorium. That poor black guy that blew himself up in T2.
Poor Miles.
If people remember that. But I don't know how to explain it. She's
fake nice.
She's fake, but it's fake nice in the way that she's really creepy and almost sinister.
She's corporate nice.
It's
hidden agenda.
It's like a fake
nice.
smile, you know? Behind that smile is this scowling face. I guarantee you, if you were able to lift that off.
Yeah. And she says, super! Everybody remember that out there?
Yeah, so she would talk to the crowd and she would interact with you. And so she would ask you to do something or tell you to do something. And she goes, okie dokie. And then everyone says, okie dokie. She goes, super.
Super.
And everyone seemed to love it.
It's fun at the beginning, and then it gets old.
But I feel after it gets old, people start playing along because they got tired of it.
Yeah. No, that's her gimmick. The super. So anyway, she's introducing you to this new product that you're going to see, and she plays a small promotional video while you're waiting.
So it's like a corporate video for Cyberdyne Systems.
Yeah, like a sales video, kind of selling you on their company,
And at the time when this came out, all of that made sense. But 10 years down the line, that video was unbelievably dated.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I used to think was so funny about it was that it had Shaquille O'Neal in it, still in a Laker uniform, and he had a little contact in his eye that allowed him to shoot perfect free throws. And I found that so funny because Shaq was notoriously terrible at free throws, but he's not even around anymore to do that. So it's why is he in this?
Kids today wouldn't even get the joke.
No.
Oh, that's funny because he sucks at free throws.
Exactly. Kids are who's that guy shooting basketballs? It's it's Shaquille O'Neal, kids.
What's the general insurance guy doing up there on that screen?
The general insurance guy. How far from grace Shaquille O'Neal has fallen. Oh my God. He's talking to an inanimate object on screen that turns into the general.
Yeah. Another kind of tangent. He's just started promoting every old man product under the sun, and he's only in his 40s.
Well, I know that he's always done like the back heating things that go on your back. They're kind of like the Tiger Bomb pads. You know what I'm talking about? Like, he's always done that.
That's fine. That's like a sports thing, but.
Well, at least he's not like doing like George Foreman and like creating some like barbecue equipment or something.
Hey, maybe someday.
Well, I guess the barbecue equipment is better than the general insurance.
Yeah, that's just such a. I was shocked when I saw that. But anyway, off topic again.
Yes. So, as you watch this video promoting Skynet and promoting Cyberdyne Systems, it's interrupted by John Connor and Sarah Connor telling us to get out, don't be there, it's not good, it's not what we think it is.
They hijacked the video.
And then they give it back, and Kimberly Duncan is upset.
She's freaking out. She's calling people on her phone.
And you could hear her freaking out above everybody because that's where the stage is for her. She's above everybody. And as soon as the music stops, she turns on, she has that clean smile again, acts like nothing's going on, and it's very odd. It gives you a really weird sense of foreboding before actually going into the theater to watch the attraction.
Yeah, and so she pretends like everything's fine, and she leads you into the theater, all the while saying, super.
Move all the way to your left, you sit down in your seats, and you look like you're what is supposed to be an auditorium for a presentation.
Yeah.
And so what they end up previewing for everybody is the first synthetic soldier, Cyberdyne's newest creation, the T-70 Terminators. And they look somewhat
humanoid.
They still kind of look similar to what you would think is the traditional Terminator with the silver mechanical body, but they were green because they were supposed to be army.
Yeah.
And they kind of had like these weird snouted face with the red eyes, and they looked like soldiers.
Yeah.
So, and they do a shooting demonstration, so they take their guns and they shoot the targets that have come down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And that's the presentation. And then all of a sudden, John Connor and Sarah Connor propel down from the ceiling to stop the presentation, and they have these guns, what I had said earlier. They're actually real guns with blanks in them, and they're shooting the guns around.
So that's real loud. That's real scary.
It's real loud. So at this point, you have your protective visors on.
Your 3D glasses.
Yes. And they shoot the screen, which ends up being the T-1000.
It's like the logo, the Cyberdyne logo that's on the screen turns into the metal T-1000, and he kind of sticks his head out, his metal head.
So this ends up being the very first 3D aspect to the attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the cop head comes out at you and looks at you, and he says, Sarah Connor, John Connor, and his head like whips back like blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it's a real person just out of nowhere.
He just appears on the stage. He kind of like pops up.
Which, as a kid, I could not comprehend the connection of the projection on the screen, which I knew what it was, and how he showed up.
They did it really well.
The timing is phenomenal. I mean, like, yes, I know how it's done.
Yeah.
But like this, like the magic of it, I was like, oh my god, that is so cool.
Yeah, and it's like blink, you miss it. It's really quick.
Literally, you will miss it if you blink. Literally.
Yeah.
So he comes out, and he's trying to stop the entire thing. He wants to kill John Connor and Sarah Connor.
That's not who he goes for first, though.
No, because Kimberly Duncan decides that she wants to try to stop him.
Stupid Kimberly.
So he ends up grabbing her by the neck and raising her up in the air, which is a rather silly effect when you look at it.
Yeah.
But then he throws her and she dies immediately. Super dead. And all of a sudden on the screen you kind of see like this orb forming and the lightning bolts start coming out of the screen, and they're saying, what's this? What's going on? Then the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator comes out of the well, she's still on the screen, on a motorcycle, rides across the screen, and then a real actor comes out of the screen on a motorcycle, comes down the ramp and around, and shoots the T-1000 with a shotgun.
It's pretty cool. So it's like the portal. It's like the time portal that's bringing him back in time.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is like fanboy moment, because he turns around and he looks at him and goes, come with me if you want to live.
I have a question. I have a thought.
What?
I have a thought. Why isn't he naked? And how do you get his motorcycle through the time? Don't you have to be like unclothed when you go through the time portal?
I think that was like set up by the crappier movies, but from what it looked like from the previous films, when those Terminators were sent through, they weren't clothed at all. They were just made naked. So they just went through naked and then they found clothes. I don't know what that whole nonsense about having to be naked to go through the time portal. I think they just needed a reason for it when it didn't need a reason.
They just needed a reason for Emilia Clarke to be naked.
Yes.
Oh.
Khaleesi being naked. But
I
I don't know.
guess.
I don't know about the motorcycle though. He had a motorcycle somewhere. I don't know.
It came through the time bubble.
Maybe you just happened to find it.
In the time bubble? Well,
Maybe in the transition between bubbles, he found a motorcycle.
I don't know.
He's like, ooh.
I just thought of that right now. I mean, they never specified in the old movies.
I don't think you need to know that how he found the motorcycle. He just has it. We don't know where he came from. He just shows up to
Talking
save
about
their
the
lives.
naked part. I mean, they're
the naked part?
They're going back and forth through time a lot, and I don't know. They're always naked in the movies.
A lot of time disturbance in areas.
Yeah. I don't. Never mind.
Moving away from the naked talk. Moving forward on it, he reaches his hand out and says, "Come with me if you want to live." And John Connor jumps on the back of the motorcycle, and they ride into the screen. And this was something that I'm a little unsure of how they've done. Like, I know how they go through the screen. There's a door, it goes up, smoke goes off, and then it shuts. But there's also a line where that door exists.
Yeah.
And that disappears. And I don't know how that works unless we're missing something.
Maybe there's a dip. Maybe they go down.
No, but the thing is that here's the screen, and then there's the door that you clearly see the outline for, but then you see the outline disappear, and I don't understand how that works, because they went straight through it.
I don't know. We'll have to go to Florida and watch.
Watch it over and over and over and over. Anyway, so this begins the actual movie portion of the attraction, where they're trying to get to the Skynet core to destroy Skynet
in the future.
So this is like the Doomsday themed area now. With all the Terminators are going insane, trying to kill everybody.
So they're on their motorcycle going through kind of this apocalyptic Mad Max wasteland.
I actually think it was supposed to be Los Angeles, because I think I remember seeing some freeway signs that were demolished that said a LA Convention Center or LA Civic Center or something like that.
Probably.
But they're there and they're trying to get to the Skynet core to destroy Skynet to save the future.
Yeah.
And along the way, they run into a whole bunch of Terminators. You think John Connor's going to die. Of course, the Terminator saves the day. He does a lot of really cool things where he grabs this helicopter-looking Terminator and then he shoots all the other ones up, stuff like that. So there's a lot of 3D elements that show up there, too.
Yeah.
A Terminator skull, he gets blown up and his head flies up and then it goes into the screen perfectly so it looks like it's going at you and then it falls back down onto the body. Eventually, they get to the Skynet core and the live actors come back into the theater. So the theater at that point becomes the door to the Skynet core.
Yeah, kind of.
Like the main center hub for Skynet. Because they come in towards us.
Yeah.
And then that's the big screen becomes the doors as they come through it there, and it's closing.
Yeah.
And then it becomes an elevator. Where the seats start to kind of feel like they're moving, and either side of the theater start to move down.
So 2 more screens appear.
Yes, so 2 more screens, additional 3D screens appear, and it looks like you're moving down into the core of Skynet to save the day.
Kind of like a Haunted Mansion effect.
Yeah, kind of. That's actually a very good representation of what it is, except...
That's an actual elevator.
Yeah, you're actually moving down over there. Over here, you're not.
Yeah.
Just the simulation of going down.
Yeah.
And so they decide that we need to save the day, so let's get started. And John asks, so what kind of security system does this place have? And the Arnold character goes, only one, the T1 million, and it's really good.
T1 million.
And it's essentially this gigantic liquid metal spider.
Back to spiders.
Again.
Yeah, Ron Weasley would hate this episode.
And it screams at them, essentially. It's like... That's not what it sounds like. But that was my interpretation of what it sounds like.
That would be a much scarier sound to hear.
And it essentially chases them around the theater, and it stomps, and it's putting its spikes out at you.
And it's utilizing those 2 extra screens that came down, and it's moving from side to side.
Yeah, so it's literally going around the theater chasing them.
Yeah.
And that's cool because these actors are interacting with the screen. And something that I haven't mentioned, but I was always so impressed with their timing. Because if you're interacting with something that is already predetermined to do what it's going to do, like you know what it's going to happen, your timing has to be impeccable.
Oh, yeah.
Impeccable. And no time did I went on that attraction, did I ever see any timing mistakes.
Me either.
They were always professional and great about getting that timing down, which is so essential to creating that immersive environment.
Yeah.
So, how do they delay the T1 million in order to keep going?
Delay. Well, they freeze
Because that's
him.
what it is. They just delay it.
They freeze him. There's this handy dandy can of like what is it, like nitrogen?
Liquid nitrogen.
Yeah,
which,
just
why did the robots decide, we need to put liquid nitrogen in the center core?
Just there. It's just so handy. Like, I guess in case John Connor comes, he might need this.
Literally, it says in Scotch tape, written in Sharpie on it, says just in case for John Connor.
How nice of them to leave that.
That's very nice of them to do that.
So they freeze the giant T1 million spider thing, and they break him up.
Yeah, so it freezes in a spot where it looks like it's about to poke you in the eyeball.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
Yeah, it's
I don't like that stuff. That bothers me. Eyeballs and nail stuff. Don't come anywhere near me with that. So they blow him up and they spray with water because it feels like he's exploding on you. So that gives him that moment to climb up the ladder. And in that moment, it's supposed to be this really emotional moment where he's like, I don't want to go. And he's pushing John Connor through the door.
The Terminator.
The Terminator's pushing him through the door. And he goes, don't worry, I'll be back. And he pushes him through to jump into the portal to save himself.
To send him back to Sarah Connor. To send him back to the past.
So what's cool is that all of this is taking place in live action. So these actors climb up the ladder, are in a little recessed area that looks like it's part of the screen.
Yeah.
And as soon as the actor goes past that door, then it's actually Edward Furlong on the movie screen doing his piece. So it all matches up. So then when Arnold goes through with the explosives that he's going to blow up everything with, it's actually Arnold on the screen at this point.
Yeah.
He jumps through and he swings and slams the explosives on the core and everything explodes. Smoke fills the theater. Red lights go off everywhere. And then you hear this music kind of going and really loud and very high pitched. And all of a sudden, boosh, your seats drop and everyone screams.
It's so startling. Even the first time you go on it, it's such a shock.
It literally scares the crap out of you.
But then even after that, you either forget or you just, you're bracing yourself for it because it's such a shocking moment.
It's like that one last scare that they give you, just startle scare at the end of the attraction. And it works perfect, and it fits well into what's going on. The explosion of Skynet and them saving the day, at least for then, because for some reason it always starts over again.
Yeah, pesky robots.
They're like roaches.
Yeah.
Why did I say it like that?
I don't know. But they are kind of like roaches. They're resilient.
They are resilient.
Yeah.
They probably can survive a nuclear holocaust.
Just like roaches.
Except I can't stomp on robots.
No.
No, they'd kill me.
The robots would kill you.
It's imagine a whole bunch of Osimo robots, from Honda, just instead of the Terminators walking around, and they all are kicking the soccer ball at people to kill them. That'd be terrifying.
But cute, also.
Yeah, they'd smile when they murder you.
Yeah.
That's no thank you. Anyway, once the smoke clears, John Connor and Sarah Connor are on the stage. They hug, and on the screen you see the Terminator skull. So you see the traditional Terminator skull, and then slowly they fade Arnold's face over it.
Yeah.
As the music thumps in, the T2 music really swells, and then the lights turn off, and that's the end of the attraction.
Is that kind of he's not really dead? He didn't die?
Well, it's kind of the memory of him will always be that he has saved our lives and he's saved the future of the human race.
Uh-huh.
It's thank you. It's kind of... The feeling, I guess, is supposed to really be the end of T2, where he sacrifices himself because he's the last one, and he gives them the thumbs up. as he goes down into the liquid metal.
It's so sad.
It's extremely sad. But like this attraction just gives, like, even the ending, although the Terminator died, the world is saved, and you just feel so empowered. You feel so heroic, even though you had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And it's all about that music and the emotion that they've built and the story that they've told. And honestly, they did such a good job doing that to make you feel like that at the end of the attraction.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, one small little nitpicky thing that I have is, why the hell is the T2 music playing at Skynet and cybernetic systems and all over the place in, like, the promotional stuff?
Well, you said it was just kind of like a take on it. It's not the exact music, right?
Well, like, at the end of, like, the video that we watched in the pre-show, they actually play it.
Oh.
Dun 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 dun.
Maybe it's
dun,
just
dun, dun, dun. Like,
freak
why
you
does that
out
exist?
or
Why does
psych
that
you out.
exist in there? The music is supposed to be for the movie and not in the movie.
I get it.
It's a small nitpicky thing. I'm aware, but I want to have answers.
Maybe it's kind of like a Walking Dead type thing where it's like I don't know where I was going with that.
Literally, this was the moment where Nikki gave me the blank look in my eyes, and I knew she needed help.
I have no idea. I wanted to make some connection on how they didn't use the word zombies in The Walking Dead.
That is not the same thing at all. Like, in any way, shape, or form is that the same.
I don't know where I was going.
Moving forward. So, the attraction ends, and then, that is really the end of the attraction, and it ended up closing very sad. It closed in 2012, and to a big fanfare, the end of the last showing was on December 31st, before the new year. Lots of fans showed up, cheering and screaming and hooping and hollering for this attraction that they love so much.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like we had mentioned earlier, the ride was replaced with Ming and Mayhem, which I despise beyond all belief with all of the passion and heart and power of my being. It is a cheap attraction that they replaced for something incredible.
I understand why they did it. It ties in with the whole, like, a water fun area that's all Minions. That whole little corner is like a Minion fun zone now. And they have, like, the cute doorbells that you can ring and it sounds like Minions inside. Like, it's cute.
No, don't get me wrong. It is cute. My issue isn't that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
My issue is that they replaced an incredible attraction with an attraction that is unbelievably cheap.
It's sad. I no, even the ride I still think is cute. The Minion ride is cute.
So it doesn't bother you that you're in one huge room with a whole bunch of vehicles. You could stare at everybody doing the same thing when the screen is supposed to be just your individual experience as a Minion.
No, it doesn't bother me. If you're staring at the screen, you can tune them out. And if you're going to say that about the Minion ride, you have to say that about Soarin' Over the World, because it's the same thing. If you look to your left or right, you see every other hang glider vehicle.
I think that's a different situation, because I think that entire thing is supposed to be one glider, but at the same point that you just said, on Soarin', you have to lean over to your right and left to see it. On Minion Mayhem, they're in direct shot of your eye line. There's nowhere you can look where you can't see them unless you look backwards.
We'll agree to disagree. I don't think it's supposed to be one glider on Soarin'.
Grr, I don't like Minion Mayhem.
I know.
And it's purely because I believe that system is cheaper than what they replaced. The 3D attraction that was incredible, probably the best 3D attraction that has existed.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. It probably was cheaper.
Yeah. Just the ride system and just overall, I feel like if they're going to do a Ming and Mayhem or they're going to do like a Despicable Me ride, I think they could have done a much better job with the planning of this attraction so that it made sense and it felt worth it, because the whole thing of like replacing an attraction is it better or just as good as what it's replacing? In my opinion, it is not just as good. It is way below par. And I love the Minions. I think they're cute. I love Despicable Me, incredible movie. So it's none of that. It's just purely the ride system.
I'll give you that one. When you put it that way, it is definitely not as good as what it replaced.
So that's why I'm not mad about Simpsons taking over Back to the Future. Back to the Future being one of my favorite trilogies of all time.
Oh, no, I'm sad about that forever.
Like, I'm okay about that because I thoroughly love The Simpsons as a cartoon, and I think it's an appropriate translation to the attraction, and I think it's just as good as Back to the Future was. At least for me and my perspective. I would choose Back to the Future over it, but I'm not mad that it replaced it because the attraction's just as good. It's just as fun, you know, you still get the feelings. You don't have Back to the Future attached to it, but I still also have like a strong attachment to Simpsons. So I mean, it's like a give and take there for me.
I don't have a strong attachment to Simpsons, and I didn't ride it.
It makes me so sad.
For a good 2 years.
I have to explain to you all the references in the ride because you don't know the show.
Oh, well, I know a few things.
Well, you know Itchy and Scratchy, but like all the smaller things.
Yeah.
And like all the jokes and stuff, you don't get them.
Yeah.
Because you didn't watch the show.
Well, I've watched. It's not like I've never seen the show. I've watched episodes here and there.
You've never seen The Simpsons ever?
That is not what I said. Sorry, I'm like no nonsense right now.
That was a tangent too. That was a complete tangent. But anyway, moving forward, so it ended up closing. It was replaced by Ming and Mayhem, and the attraction still exists in Florida and Japan, I believe.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we lost it. And one of the really, really incredible attractions that I loved growing up watching as a kid.
Me too. And I'd have to say that I had a pretty good goodbye to the ride. Like, my last time riding it was...
With your Irish family, right?
It was with my family from Ireland, and it was my cousin Karen and her husband, and they had been on it before, but they brought their kids, and they were fairly young, you know, maybe like...
Still at the age where they were very nervous about rides and not quite sure where they stood and what they liked quite yet. You know, they're very inquisitive, but standoffish.
Yeah, so it was new to them, and they were apprehensive and nervous, and then we went and saw the show, and then when it was over, they loved it. And I think it's kind of special that for my last time riding the show, I got to experience someone's first time.
Yeah, so it's like a first and last show. You get like this yin and yang effect with the experience, which is really cool. That's special.
You just kind of see it fresh. You get to kind of see it from a new perspective.
And honestly, like, anytime somebody goes into attraction and leaves with the bright look in their eyes of mysticism and being drawn into that situation and believing it, is so sad. It must be so satisfying to those people who created that attraction, but also it speaks volumes to the attraction that they created, that especially at the end of its run, before it was demolished and taken over, it was still doing that to people who were coming.
It was.
It made them believe in that situation and made kids want to go watch Terminator and wanted to be into that movie and wanting to meet the Terminator himself.
Yeah, they left that ride. They were so excited. They did the photo op with the motorcycle that was right outside the exit. It was great.
You know what they should do? They should have a Terminator walk-around character. How cool would that be?
They could totally do that.
They could totally pull that off. They
Just
should
a buff guy in a leather jacket.
They should have him and Sarah Connor and Jean Connor. Universal, listen to me right now. Do that, please.
Ideas.
Yes, please. Just the other idea is get rid of a lot of the 3D attractions. I think you're okay without those and motion simulator things. You know, kind of go towards other ideas. You know, I don't want Universal to become to the point where you enter the park and they just hang you 3D glasses.
Yeah.
And then you just have to wear them around your neck all freaking day because every single ride is 3D. Like, eventually people's heads are going to explode like scanners.
You can personalize them like the Magic Bands have different...
No. People will buy them, and they'll make money, and that means they will never get rid of the 3D attractions, motion simulators. You are giving them ideas, Nikki, and I don't like it.
But 3D glasses that look like Minion goggles.
Okay, that is cute, but still. No.
Okay.
On that note, that brings us to the end of our ride profile edition of T2 3D Battle Across Time.
That was fun reliving it. I forgot a lot of stuff.
It really brings up a lot of the emotions, especially on rides that we grew up going on. It really brings up the emotions and reminds you of a lot of the things that you end up forgetting, the smaller details. Like, you remember the ride and you remember going on it, but the smaller, finer details of the experience that really is what, bring that childhood happiness back.
Yeah.
And all of us love feeling like a kid again and acting like a kid and just being silly and having fun. And so I think that this is what that allows for us. I mean, I act like a kid 24/7 anyway.
All the time.
Yeah, so I'm a kid all the time.
Nothing wrong with that. As long as you go to your job and pay bills and stuff, that's fine.
That is true. But I think a lot of people enjoy that, specifically 9 people, to be exact, because we have 9 5-star written reviews on iTunes.
What?
Incredible. Only after 1 episode, Nikki.
People actually like us?
Isn't that weird? I didn't think that people could actually like us.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, people. Thank you, 9 people.
Yeah. I am flattered.
Yeah.
So we're going to give a shout out to everybody who's given us a 5-star written review. And remember, people listening now, if you guys enjoy the show, if you enjoy our stupid, ridiculous banter, make sure you give us a 5-star written review on iTunes. It really helps us out. It puts the show higher in the ratings, and it makes it easier for people to enjoy the show like you are right now. So we'll just go through the list of people to thank. So the first one that we have to thank is Why You Gotta Be So Rude. Thank you for leaving us a 5-star written review.
It was not rude.
No, it was not rude. It was a very polite and nice review.
The next person we're going to shout out is A2ZZZZZZZ. Or
Is it A2Z?
A2Z.
Either one. Let us know if we are wrong.
Is it A to Z?
But there's so many Z's. But you might be right.
Your name confuses us, but thank you.
Thank you to Looking Up 323. We really appreciate you leaving that 5-star written review.
And Brooke Nay, thank you for the lovely words in the 5-star review.
Jacinda, thank you so much.
And Adam M. Walsh, thank you. You wrote us a wonderful review.
And then Rich XXXX, thank you for the review. Do all those X's mean that he's like super adult?
Oh, maybe.
Like he's past triple X and he's just like way past it.
Like that back room where all the adult material is.
He's just
like,
way past that room and like 2 rooms past it.
And down like a flight of stairs.
And he's just in there. He's like, hey, I'm Rich. And it's like, Rich, why are you like 4 rooms and stairs back from this like adult bookstore? Like, I don't know. I'm just back here.
Oh, that's so confusing.
That's very confusing because you're not adult at all. and sorry. I digress.
We might make up a story about your name if you leave us a review, but that's all fun.
It might happen. It might happen. There's no guarantees. Your name has to spark our imagination. So, thank you everybody for leaving the 5-star review. We genuinely appreciate it. It makes us feel good that you guys enjoy listening us be silly and talk about the stuff that we love to talk about.
Yeah.
Whoa, what's that noise? What is that noise and where is it coming from?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's coming from your pocket.
What? My phone's in my pocket.
Yeah, take it out. That's the Duo phone.
Why is my phone the Duo phone?
I didn't tell you, but I went to AT&T and I got that changed to the Duo phone. It's no longer your phone.
Well, buy me a new phone for personal use then.
I will buy you an Android. So we're using your iPhone as the Duo phone. It looks like we have a voicemail, so actually let's play it right now on the show. Let's see what it is.
Yeah, let's click play.
Yeah, hi. This is a voicemail message for Gabe and Nikki of the Theme Park Duo. My name is Steven.
I'm Tiffany.
And we used to host a podcast called Extended Queue, a theme park podcast. And, well, we stopped doing that, but we kept saying that we were going to come back in some capacity. And we felt as though your show, the Theme Park Duo, would be a great place to come back and do the thing, you know? So we can bring some of our segments, like, what are our segments, Tiffany? Like the
flashback.
Flashbacks, yeah. So you want to work at a theme park, or the what's that one? The Back in My Day.
Back in My Day.
Maybe some ride battles. Who knows? That's really up to you guys since it's like your show and stuff. But yeah, we are down to appear on your show. I mean, like, it's not really appearing because it's a podcast. It's more of an audio thing. Like, it's like a listening thing.
Yeah, with your earballs.
With my earballs, yes. Yes, it's really important that your earballs are finely tuned. So yeah, Gabe and Nikki, with your permission, we'll be coming over to the Theme Park Duo podcast. I'll be there. Tiffany will be there. even our dogs will show up, because whether we like it or not, they seem to show up in things. So, yeah, awesome. We'll be on the Theme Park Duo podcast, Extended Q, coming at you. And until next time, I'm Steven.
I think I'm Tiffany.
You are? Okay, cool. Wishing you fast rides, fun times, and most importantly...
I hope you have some short lines.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye.
Holy crap!
That's fantastic.
That was a bomb dropped on this show right now. So all the fans of Extended Q, now you can tune in to the Theme Park Duo for Extended Q. Steven and Tiffany, I love those two. They are another incredible duo.
And they love theme parks just like us.
Yes, but Tiffany also doesn't really like being scared, so we're going to have to take her to a lot of haunted events.
Oh my gosh.
During the season. They live out in Vegas, so we're going to have to get them to come here, and we're going to just force her on everything terrible. And we're just going to record her entire experience getting scared.
That can be a whole episode.
Yeah, they did that on their season 1. They sent her through, I think, like the gates of hell or something out there in Nevada, and they called it the Scare Tiffany episode, and they had the hashtag Scare Tiffany. It was perfect.
Scare Tiffany.
You can check out all of Extended Q's older episodes at extendedq.com. But now they're going to be joining us. So if you are familiar with all their segments and you like who they are and what they do, like they said, they have a whole bunch of those cool segments that they're going to be bringing here, and they're going to be doing them with us.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
It's going to be fun to have another 2 people here with us, recording about the dorkiest stuff on Earth, having so much fun talking theme parks, haunts, conventions, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we'll be like a hive mind.
We'll be like a hive mind. So whenever we want to mate, we're going to have to do those dances like bees?
No mating involved.
You said hive.
Well, it's like sharing of ideas.
Oh.
Like worker bees.
I took it like literal hive. My bad. Anyway, moving forward, so stay tuned for episodes with Extended Q. We'll let you know whenever they're going to be on the show. It's going to be a good time. And to find out all that information, make sure you follow us on social media, because we love posting from the parks, posting pictures, putting up like really, really, really silly photos and all that stuff. So if you want to find us on Twitter, you can find us at Theme Park Duo. And we're also on Instagram, Facebook, and Periscope. We were actually periscoping from Knott's Berry Farm today. So we actually just like walking around and make it seem like you're there with us. And we chat with you and all that fun stuff. So remember to look for at Theme Park Duo on social media, so that you could be with us and hang out and see all the cool stuff that we're doing and what we have planned for the show. Now, Nikki, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at NikkiM_313, and that's NIKKI.
Yes, and you can follow me, Gabe, at Lakers793 on Twitter. And if you guys ever want to email the show, make sure you email us at themeparkduo@gmail.com. So that's if you want to say hello, send us a picture of your dog, ask us why you're feeling sick.
We love seeing pictures of puppers.
We like dogs. We have rats, but we like dogs.
Yeah, if you hear little noises in the backgrounds of our show, sometime that's just our rats playing or drinking water.
They tend to wrestle and squeak a lot, so yeah. I mean they're back there making noise. So if you ever hear that, that's what's going on in the background, is our rats, because I share my office with my rats.
And don't get grossed out, they're really cute and intelligent pets.
At some point I will post a picture of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for tuning in, everybody. We really appreciate it. And remember, there's always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. See ya!
Thanks for riding with the Theme Park Duo. Make sure to gather all your belongings before the end of the podcast. Bye-bye!
Hasta la vista, baby.